Hey everyone, it's Victor here, and welcome to scotTRANS. Now, this week's topic is about the support we have from our friends. Now, I've been extremely lucky. I consider myself very lucky with the friends that I have, and I also kind of consider my family my friends. So both this week's topic and next week's topic are kind of mixed for me, but I will try to just talk about friends in this one and then family in the next one. A lot of my friends are trans, so it's been wonderful to develop those friendships as a kind of it's almost like a kind of therapy session, because you all know what you're going through. And I find that having friends that are trans when you're trans is probably the best thing you can ask for. And of course, I'm talking about kind of my situation now and the friends I have now. I definitely think in the past I've had some pretty bad friends. So it hasn't all been sunshine and daisies. Although obviously I came out as trans much later in life. So it would have been interesting to see how my experience would have been different with the people around me if I'd come out much earlier. I think especially at school. School can be such a toxic environment anyway, that coming out in school around the kind of friends you're forced to be around, let's admit, like the people at school that you're friends with, often you hang out with them because you're kind of stuck together, and often you don't agree. I mean, yeah, you can make wonderful lasting friendships at school, but most of the time there are people that are around you that you'd rather not spend time around. I definitely think it tests friendships, because obviously, I mean, being trans is getting more and more accepted, people are learning about it more, but at the same time, there's still a lot of judgmental attitudes out there that it can make it difficult. I think it's hard for people who are passing 100% of the time, because often you can't filter the people that come into your life, and because they don't know on face value that you're trans, or you haven't, if you haven't kind of spoken out about it straight at the start, it can be quite interesting, because later down the line you can learn that maybe that person's transphobic and you had no idea, and then they had no idea you were trans, which is weird because you feel like some kind of secret agent. And I know people have talked about that before, this kind of being stealth and having friends and then realizing that later they're actually transphobic because they say something out of context and you're just like, oh, that was transphobic. I think obviously I'd consider my best friend to be Dan, who actually lives in the house with us. He's my brother's boyfriend, so that's the most convenient friendship of them all. Because, some people have friends you only see them once a month, or, you try to meet up and things like that. But Dan actually lives here, so I think me and Dan have basically been the kind of support system of both of our transitions, which is pretty awesome. I think many people would kill for that opportunity. And I think it is important, if you feel that you don't have a good support system of friends, there's plenty of people out there, and I think if you join groups of other trans people that kind of know what's going on in your life, finding friendships is much easier that way, if you can relate about being trans. So I kind of feel like that's where the whole phrase birds of a feather flock together, because that's kind of how things work. But I am no way saying that you can't have cis friends. That is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that generally trans people know what you're going through more, so they're a better kind of support system, although that is not always the case. I mean, this is kind of family, but my brother Jay is cis, but he's been a great support, and obviously I consider him my friend as well as my brother. I think as your transition develops, you kind of probably get a wider friend circle, because making friends when you're kind of pre-transition and you haven't fully figured things out and stuff like that, that's really stressful. I find that stressful. I think for me especially, because I wouldn't go so far as saying it was selective mutism, but I do go mute, or I have gone mute in the past in public, because I've been so uncomfortable with my voice and how it sounds, and it just feels wrong when it comes out of my mouth. And I think it's just fear, and it's the fear of being misgendered mostly, and obviously that's been a huge barrier. Sometimes it goes away, sometimes I can ignore my voice, And that's how I've made a lot of my friends, obviously. And I've met most of my friends at kind of conventions and things like that. And generally people that go to cons are pretty like, you know, they know about gender and, you know, they're very kind of LGBT plus knowledgeable people. So I feel like I've met some really good people through that. But anyway, leave your thoughts in the comments. Tell me what your friends are like and what's your experience with making friends, and are they supportive friends? Because I'd like to know. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next Sunday.